Hey guys, welcome to our channel Webstack Group. In this video, I'm going to show you the top 10 most commonly asked JavaScript interview questions and answers. These questions contains data structures and algorithms, string manipulations, array methods, and some other common logics. So let's get started. The first question in the list, we have sorting an array of numbers. Sorting an array is very commonly asked question in any interview, either directly or you might face a situation to sort an array in any other questions. The primary condition the interviewer asks you to sort an array is not to use any predefined method or predefined functions. So there are multiple sorting algorithms like bubble sort, merge sort, quick sort, and so on. Now we are going to use bubble sort to solve this question. Don't worry about the other sorting algorithms. So later in this channel, I'm going to do some series of videos on data structures and algorithms. So in that series, you can find the other sorting techniques and also the other data structures as well. I have created a JavaScript file and a HTML document. Also, I linked this external JavaScript file to this HTML document. So let me open this HTML document in the browser, so that we can see the output in the console. Okay, now right click and inspect in the console tab. Yes, so here we can see the output of every question. Let's create a function of a bubble sort. Const bubble sort is equal to. So this bubble sort function accepts an argument of an array, and let's invoke this function by passing an unsorted array. Let's take an example of 4, 5, 3, 1, 2. So this is an unsorted array. We are passing it to this bubble sort function. So, and the expected output would be an array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a sorted array. Okay, so let's wrap it in console.log so that we can see the output in console tab of browser. Alright. So before getting into actual code, let's see how actually the bubble sort works. Okay, this algorithm sorts an array by comparing the two adjacent elements and swaps their position if the first element is greater than the second element, and so on. So let's see how it goes. If you look at this unsorted array as an example, so for the first iteration, it is going to check these two elements. Here if you look at this, 4 is not greater than 5, so it remains in their position itself, and next it is going to check 5 is greater than 3 or not. So 5 is greater than 3, so it is going to swap their positions. So now it becomes 3 and this becomes 5, and again it's going to check the next two adjacent elements, and it is going to check 5 is greater than 1 or not. So it is greater than 1, so it's going to swap their positions 1, and again so it is going to compare these two elements, and if it is greater than 2, then it is going to swap their position. So this is for the first iteration, the 5 as sorted. The same way, so for the second iteration, it is going to check these two elements again, and if 4 is greater than 3, then it's going to swap their position 3, and next it's going to check these two, and this is also going to be sorted, and so on. 4 is greater than 2, so it is going to swap, and now the 4 is not greater than 5, so it remains in their positions. And again the third iteration is going to check 3 is greater than 1 or not, so it is swaps, and again 3 is greater than 2, then it is going to swap again, and again 3 is not greater than 4, and 4 is not greater than 5, and again 1 is not greater than 2. So that's how this unsorted array is going to be sort. Now let's write some code. We have already created a bubble sort function, and it accepts an argument of an array. Now let's loop this array using for loop. For let I is equal to 0, I less than the total length I plus plus. We can create another variable, length is equal to length. We can add this variable over here. Alright, so this for loop creates iterations over this array. Now as we are going to compare the elements, so we need to create another loop inside this loop. So we create again using the for loop, and now let's create a variable of j is equal to 0, j less than length j plus plus. So this is how we create another loop. So we can simplify this condition later. Okay, so now it's time to compare these adjacent elements, and have to swap if the first element is greater than the second element. So that we can do using the if condition. If array of j is greater than array of j plus 1. So what does it mean? If array of j greater than array of j plus 1, then we need to swap their positions, right? So here array of j gives the value of 4, and array of j plus 1 gives the value of 5. So which means array of, if 4 is greater than 5, then we have to swap, but here 4 is not greater than 5, right? So we don't want to do anything. In the second loop, array of j becomes 5 and array of j plus 1 becomes 3. So if 5 is greater than 3, then we have to swap their positions. So how do you do that? So array of j, so which is array of j becomes is equal to array of j plus 1. Okay, so now this position is being swapped with 3, right? Now again we need to swap this position, so which is array of j plus 1 should be this value. But if we give array of j, then it gives the same value again, because by this time array of j is already became array of j plus 1. So for that what we do, so we have to create a variable, a temporary variable, and we need to store array of j value here. So what does it do? So when this loop has started, and after checking this condition, the array of j value is being assigned to this temporary variable. Okay, so after that, so we are assigning array of j to array of j plus 1, and array of j value we are assigning the temporary value, temp variable, to this array of j plus 1. So this is how we have to swap their positions. So now it becomes 3, becomes 5. So that's how in every loop it is going to check these adjacent elements, and if it is greater than the second element, then they are going to swap their positions. So after this, so we have to return the array. So anyway, we are making the changes to this array, so we need to return this value. So return array, and we can remove these things first. Okay, let's save this file and check the output in the browser. Save this file and check. Yes, now we can see this sorted array in the console here, right? So we have passed this unsorted array, and now we got the expected output here. Okay, and this condition applies to all the elements in the array, even onto the sorted elements. If you look at this, so in this iteration 4 and 5 is sorted, and we don't want to check the condition on these elements again because it's already sorted, right? So how can we stop checking this condition to the sorted elements? So here in this loop we can reduce the length by minus I minus 1. So this condition gives the length of the unsorted array, and this condition applies only to that elements which are not sorted, right? So let's check the output. Right, so get the same result again. Okay, this is about the bubble sort. So we'll check the next question. The second question is also on sorting an array of zeros and ones. Sorting an array of numbers zeros and ones. This is also a very commonly asked question in the interviews. This question looks little tricky, but it is very easy to solve. Whenever you got a question on sorting, instead of going directly to the sorting algorithms or any other techniques, just try to understand the question properly and use simple logics so that you can solve this kind of questions. So if you know the answer, you can pause the video over here and you can try it of your own. Later I'm going to give my own approach. Okay. Alright, here is my approach. First we will count the number of zeros in the given array and add those zeros at first to the array and add the remaining ones next to the zeros in the same array. That's it. So let's see how we can write in the code. So let's create a function const sort array is equal to, so this accept an argument of an array, and let's invoke this function and console the same sort array and pass the unsorted array of zeros and ones. Okay, so now let's make a loop of this array loop, or loop let I is equal to 0, I less than array dot length I plus plus. Okay, so now we are going to count the number of zeros available in this given array, right? So we can write a condition like array of I will equal to 0. Then we need to check the number of zeros available. So for that, let's take a variable first, count is equal to 0. Let's initialize with value 0. So if we found a 0, then we can make plus plus, such that we will get the count of zeros, right? Now we know the count of the zeros, or the actual length of the zeros available in the given array. Now let's add those zeros to the array at first. So for that we can create another for loop, and let's create an I is equal to 0, I less than count the actual length of the zeros available and I plus plus. So now we can add array of I is equal to assign 0. So we have added zeros to this array at the first, and now we should add ones of remaining length of array next to this zeros. Okay, so let's write another loop, let I is equal to starting from the count I less than this array of length. This is the actual length of the array, is given I plus plus. So now we are assigning array of I is equal to 1s. So in this loop we have added zeros of length count, which is the number of zeros available from this array, and here we are adding ones to the same array starting from the count, which is the actual length of the zeros from there to the end of the actual length of the array. Got it? And return this array. That's it. So let's look at the output. So here we go. So 0 at first, 1 at next. That's it. So yeah, let's move on to the next question. The third question we have, double the price of mobiles in the given array list. So we have some products list, which is an array of objects which contains category of electronics and type of mobiles and type of TV and so on. So it also has prices. Okay, the question is, so we need to double the price of mobiles in the given array list. So if you look at this, we have some objects which contains type as mobile, right? So we need to double the price of those objects. Okay, so if you look at this array, so this object is this object has type of mobile, and second is not, and third one we have the same type of mobile, right? So we need to double this price. So this should become 50,000, right? So this should become 1 lakh, and this should become 80,000, right? Alright, the same question may not be asked in the interviews, but you might get a similar kind of question. So just try to understand the logic, okay, so that you can solve this kind of questions. Alright, so if you know the answer, you can pause the video here and you can try to solve it of your own. So for this question, I'm going to use JavaScript array method map. So let's see how we can use that map. So first let's create a function, const double the price. Okay, and so this accepts an array. Let's invoke this in the console. So we can pass this variable into this function products. Okay, so now let's return an array dot map. So map method accepts a callback function, so which is going to iterate throughout this this array, and it is going to call on each iteration, right? So it has argument. Let's take we can take item. So now, so we need to check the condition. If item dot type is equal to mobile, right? So we are going to find the object mobiles, okay, and this is going to return an object, and we can destructure with item, and we are going to update the price. Price is item dot price into 2. So we're going to double the price of mobiles, right? So yeah, so into 2. So now if item dot type is mobile, then we are going to double the price. If not, we can return the same item. Alright, so let's see the output. So how it comes. So we got 3 objects of an array. So if you look at this, the first object, so now it is doubled for this type of mobile, and second we have TV, so that remains same, and third we have 80,000 as the double price for this mobile type. Okay, so this is how you use array method map. Alright, so let's move on to the next question. The fourth question we have, calculate the total price of the mobiles in the given array list. So we have the same products list from the previous question. So in these questions we need to calculate the total price of the mobiles. Okay, so that means we need to sum the price of the mobiles of this list. Alright, so how we can achieve that? So if you know the answer, you can pause the video and try it of your own. My approach is to use array methods of filter and the reduce. Okay, how can we do that? So for the first is, so we need to filter all the mobiles objects from this array list. Okay, so here we have two objects of mobiles, type mobile. Okay, these two. So we are going to return these two objects of array, and we are going to use reuse upon that filtered array. Okay, so that is going to return the total price of the mobiles. Okay, let's see how we can use that. Okay, for the first, let's create constant function, calculate sum is equal to, so this is going to be sum, and console.log calculate sum. Let's invoke this and pass the products to this. So anyway, this is going to accept an array. So now first we need to filter the mobiles list, right? So for that, so we can create a constant again, filtered mobiles. So I have taken a variable, and in this we are going to use filter method, and it's a callback again. So this has an item, and here we need to filter that. So if item dot type is equal to mobile, then return that item. Okay, so it is going to return all the items, so where the type is mobile from this array. Okay, so now we got filtered mobiles, and now let's take another variable of total price equal to, and we are going to use reduce method upon this filtered mobiles list. Okay, so filtered mobiles dot reduce. So this also has a callback function, but it accepts two parameters. One is accumulated and the current object. So what are these two? So accumulator is nothing but the previously returned value of this function. Okay, so whatever the value it returns, that is being stored in this accumulator. Okay, so here in this we are going to return accumulator dot price plus and the current object dot price. Okay, so this is going to return the total price of the mobiles. Okay, so let's return this total price. Return total price. So let's check the output. Yeah, so if you look at this, so 90,000 was the total sum of the mobiles. Okay, so here we have 50,000 and the 40,000, which is 90,000. Okay, so that's it. So let's move on to the next question. The next question we have, remove duplicates from an array of numbers. This is also a very commonly asked question in the interviews. The interviewer might ask you a question, either return an array of removing the duplicates or just return the duplicate numbers. We are going to see the solution for the both. Okay, so first let's create a function. First remove duplicates, and this accepts an array. Let's console this and call by passing the numbers array. Okay, the approach for this question is to create an object and assign these values as keys to that object, because objects cannot accept duplicate numbers as keys. such that we can have a track of the duplicate numbers. So let's see how we can achieve that. First, let's create an object, an empty object, and we're also going to create an empty array that we can say result, which is an array of removing the duplicates. And yeah, so let's create a for loop. Let I is equal to 0, I less than array dot length plus. Okay, so let's add these array numbers as keys to this object. Okay, so let's first do that. Object of array of I is equal to true. So here what you are doing, so we are adding keys to this object. The keys are nothing but the values of these array numbers. Okay, and we are assigning a value as true. Alright, so now we are going to check a condition. If not object of array of I, then result dot push array of I. So what does it mean? So here we are checking whether array of I exists in this object as a key or not. So here if it is not exist, then we are pushing this value into this array. Okay, if it is exist, then it is going to skip. Okay, so let's check in these iterations. So for the first iteration, we have the value of 1, right? So in this condition, it is going to check whether this 1 exists in this object or not. So that's what is condition. So initially it is an empty object, right? So there is no 1 in this object as a key, so it is going to push into this result. So this becomes 1. Okay, after that it goes here. So here we are assigning object of array of I is equal to true. So here it is going to assign to an object, and that becomes 1 colon true. Okay, so that is for the first iteration. In the second iteration, the value will be 3, and here again it is going to check the condition 3. So in object 3 is not exist, so then it pushes to the result array like this, and here it is going to assign that 3 as true. Okay, in the third iteration again we have 3, and here in this condition it is going to check whether 3 exists in the object or not. So here in this object we have already 3, then this condition is going to fail and it moves over here. Here it is trying to assign the value 3 to this object. 3 is already exist in this object, so it is not going to accept the duplicate numbers as keys. So then this is also going to fail and it goes again. Now we have 5, and it is going to check this condition. 5 is not exist in this object, so it is going to push to this array, and here it is going to assign this as a key. The same repeats again. 5 is already there in this object, so it is not going to do anything here and even here. So and again now we have 7 is going to add over here, and later it is also being added here as true. Okay, same like 8, so here also be 8. So that's how we get the result of removing the duplicates from an array. So let's return this result and check. Right, so if you look at this, so we got the expected output of removing the duplicates from an array, right? Alright, so now let's create another array, name it as a duplicates, and try to add only duplicates to this array. Okay, so here we are checking the condition whether this value exists as key in this object or not. If not, we are pushing this to array result. If it is exist, then we push that numbers into these duplicates, so which are the duplicate numbers I. So let's return these results, these duplicates, and see. So if you look at this, 3 and 5 are the duplicate numbers from this array. Alright, this is how we can solve this question, and let's move on to the next question. The next question we have, find the sum of digits in the given number. So in this question you will be given a number and you need to sum that digits of that number. For example, if the given number is 1, 2, 3, then so you need to sum these digits, like 1 plus 2 plus 3, which is 6. So the result will be 6. The same like this example, if you have a number 7, 2, 6, then the output will be 7 plus 2 plus 6, which equals to let's say 8 plus 6 equals to 14, which is again 1 plus 4. The final output will be 5. So this is how we need to sum the digits of a given number. So let's check our approach. So for the first, we need to convert this number into an array of numbers. After that, we can use the array method reduce and we can return the sum. Let's write some code to achieve this. Okay, let's revert back to the example of 1, 2, 3. Now write a function const sum dot digit array function log sum the digit and pass the number. So this should accept a number as an argument. Okay, so now let's make this number as an array of numbers, so that we can use reduce method on that array. So let array is equal to arr is equal to number dot. First we need to convert this number into string to string dot and split it dot map this as number. Okay, so this is going to convert the given number into an array of numbers like this: 1, 2, 3. Okay, after that let's use a reduce method to this array. So let's return this method. So array dot reduce. This accepts callback function with an accumulator and the current value. Okay, so let sum, let's take a variable sum and add the accumulator value plus and the current value. and return this, return sum. Okay, so this is going to return the sum, and that is being returned here in this function. Okay, let's check the output. So what do you get? So we get as 6. Okay, so if we pass a number 1 2 3, then the output will be 6. The same way, if, as we see in the previous example, 7 to 6. So let's see what we get. So we get a value of 15, but this number is also but this number is also, but we have to sum this number, but we also need to sum the digits of this number. Okay, so for that, so we have to write a condition over here. If the sum is greater than 10, then we should return the same function again and pass the sum. So let's check what does it do. Else return sum, and we can remove from here. So what is this condition? So here we got the sum, and if it is greater than 10, then we are calling the same function again and passing the value sum. So which means if it is greater than 10, so let's say if it is 14 15, I mean more than 10, so then it has digits, right? So that we need to sum again. So we are calling this function as recursive. Okay, so in that way, so if we look at this, so you will get the answer as 6. So previously it was like 15, and 1 plus 5 is 6. Got it? So let's revert it to the 1 2 3 again, and we see the output as 6 again. So in that way, so if we increase the number, get the output. Clear? Alright, so let's move to the next question. The next question we have: compute the exponent of a number. This question is also on recursion. The interviewer asks you to write a function that should return the power of the base to the exponent, which means, for example, to take a power as a function, so you'll be passed a base, an exponent of 4. So this should return the answer of 16. So which means 4 times of 2, just like 4 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. So this should result 16, right? So this is how the question being asked. So how can we solve this? We are going to solve this using recursion. So let's check it out. So first let's write a function power equal to, and this accepts a base and exponent, right? Base exponent. So let's invoke this. For example, let's pass 2 as base and 4 as exponent. So as we are going to solve this using recursion, so we need to have a base condition. So for every recursive function, so we need to stop at one point. We need to break the recursion. So for that we need to have a base condition. So here the base condition is if the exponent is equal to 0, then we must return as 1. Okay, so we'll see that. So and return, if it is not 0, so then we're going to return the base into, and we are going to call the same function again within the base and exponent -1. So we're going to decrease the exponent of one number of each recursive case. Okay, so let's see. So what do you get as a result? So if you look at this, so we got as expected output as 16. Okay, so if you pass 2 to the power of 4, 2 times 2 into 2, so that becomes 4, right? So that's the result. So let's see behind the scenes, so how it is working. Okay, so this gives results of 2 into again the power of 2 comma 3. Okay, so this is what returns if we call this function. Okay, as exponent is not 0, right? So again, so this results 2 into power of 2 comma 2. Again it repeats with 1, again it repeats with 0 until it reaches to this condition, right? It meets this condition. So power 2 to the power of 0, so where exponent is 0, so then it returns 1. Okay, and it is going to compute, and this result is going to here, okay, which is 2 again, and this result goes to here. So this is 2 into 2 is 4, so this result goes to here, and this result returns to this, so just 2 4 2 is 8, so that results over here 8, and this result is for this. Clear? So that's how this recursion is working. Let's move on to the next question. The next question is to check whether any two numbers from an array will sum up the given number. In this question, you will need to write a function to check whether any two numbers from an unsorted array will sum up the given number, which means, for example, we need to write a function which gives, we need to write a function of, let's say, find sum, and we'll be passing with an unsorted array. For example, let's take 6 comma 4 comma 3 2. Okay, and the result, let's say, is given 10. Okay, so now the question is to check whether any two numbers from this unsorted array will result this number. So here in this example, 6 plus 4 gives 10, so we need to return an output as true. Okay, if the number is given as 11, then this should return false, because those are from this array, unsorted array, so any two numbers will not result 11, so this becomes as false. So okay, so how can we solve this question? First, let's write a function find sum as 10. So this should give an answer as true, right? Okay, let's loop this array. Let I is equal to 0, I less than array dot length I plus plus. Okay, so here is my approach. So I'm going to take an object and pass every element of this array into that object as key and value as true, and after that I'm going to check the difference of this number and these array numbers, and I'm going to check whether that difference number exists in that object or not. If it is exist, then I'm going to return true, if not, return false. So let's check it out. So how it works. So let me take an object, empty an object, and in this loop I'm going to, so let's add object of array of I is equal to true. So I'm going to add every element into this object as key with value true, right? And also let me take another variable of difference. Okay, so here I'm going to check difference is equal to the number which we pass minus array of I. Okay, so this gives the difference number if the object has this difference value, I mean this difference key, then it should return true. Okay, if not, we are going to return false. So let's see what we'll get as an output. So the expected output is true, so we get as true. So if we pass as 11, so this results as false. So let's check how it is working. So in this loop, so we are checking the difference, right? So 10 minus, so number is 10 minus array of I. So here array of I is 6, so for the first iteration, right? So 10 minus 6 results 4. So in this condition, if object of 4 exists, then return true. So by this time, for the first iteration, object has nothing, it's an empty object, right? So it is going to skip this condition, and here object of array of I is equal to true. So now it is assigning a key to this object as value true. So object of array of I is nothing but 6 is true. So this becomes 6 true. Okay, in the second iteration the value is 4. Now it becomes array of I becomes 4. So now it checks the difference. So 10 minus 4, so which is 6. So now it checks, so object of 6 exists or not. So by this time object has a value of a key as a 6, which value is true. So which means this returns as true. That means the sum of the 6 and 4 becomes the sum of the given number. So that's how we can solve this question. So let's move on to the next question. So the next question is, how do you reverse a string? This is a simple and commonly asked question in the interviews. How do you reverse a string in JavaScript without using any predefined methods or functions? So for example, if you write a function reverse a string, and you will be passed a string, for example, like, welcome to Webstack group. So we need to reverse this string. This is a very simple question, so you can try it of your own by pausing the video here. Alright, so let's create a function. Alright, so my approach is it's very simple. So let's create a variable with an empty string and loop this string in reverse order and assign that string values to the newly created variable and return that string. Okay, so let's check this out. So let's first create an empty string. So let's say result is equal to an empty string, and let's create a loop. Let's create a loop for the given string. Let I is equal to, as we are looping this string in the reverse order, I will be length minus 1. It should starts from the last. I should be greater than or equal to 0. I minus. So this loop starts in the reverse order. So I starts from the length minus 1, which means the last digit, the last number, and I should be greater than 0, and I minus minus. Okay, now just simply assign this to result plus equal to string of I and return result. Okay, so let's see the result. Alright, so the string is reversed. Okay, so that's how we need to solve this. So let's move on to the next question. So the last question we have is to find the missing number from an array. So in this question you will be given an array of numbers from 1 to n. So you'll need to find the missing number from that array. The array might be sorted or unsorted. So if you see this as an example, so you have an array of numbers 1 to 7, 1 to n, which means like 1 to 7. So you need to find the missing number from this array of numbers. So if you look at this array of numbers in a sequence order, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here the 4 is missing in this array. So you need to find that number. Okay, so the result will be 4. So there are multiple ways to solve this problem. So let's see how can we do this. First, let's create a function. So my approach is, let's sum all the numbers from 1 to n and sum all the numbers from the given array, and the difference between those two numbers gives the missing number. So let's see how we can do that. So for example, from this array, so let's sum these numbers from 1 to n, let's say, so 1 2 3 4 5 6, and add this 4 in this array, and let's sum these array of numbers, let's say it's an x, and this result gives y, and the result will be like x minus y. So this gives the missing number. Okay, so let's write it in this code. So let's create a variable as a result. It's equal to, let's say it's a 0, and let's create another variable of total sum, so which is the sum of the numbers from 1 to n. So for this we can use an arithmetic expression of n into n plus 1 by 2. So this arithmetic expression can give the total sum of the numbers 1 to n, right? So here n will be the total number, the length of the array of 1 to n numbers. So for that, let's take n as a variable and array dot length plus 1. So but the given array has a missing number, right? To include the missing number length, so we add plus 1 to this array length. So now, so this gives the total sum of this array, and now let's loop this array. Let's add the given array of numbers and assign it to the result variable, array of I. So now we got the total sum and the result, the sum of the given array, and let's check and return the difference of these two results. So then we'll get the missing number from the given array, right? So let's check the output. So yeah, so we got 4 as a result, so which is unexpected, the missing number. So if we add 4 and let's miss 6 from the sequence. Now 6 is missing from this array, so we need to get that as array output, right? So this is how you can solve this question. That's it, guys. These are the top 10 questions which are picked that are commonly asked in the interviews. If this video is helpful, then please like the video and do subscribe the channel. Thank you.